Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is D-Man coming back at it again with another YouTube video, and today we're going to go over every single Tennessee Titan in the game that they revealed yesterday. Now, all of these were released yesterday, I think, yesterday afternoon towards later into the night. I'm not sure exactly what time it was last night, but I just know that these were all released or I should say yesterday. But I do have some issues with a couple of these, and you've already probably heard my spill on a couple of these guys. But also, the whole database is now open, so you can now go and see what everyone's overall is in the game. So that's pretty awesome. So not just the Titans, every team in the NFL is now available for you to look at everyone's roster, what overalls people are, you know, each individual stat as well. So that's awesome. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop into it. We're gonna try and fly through this because it could get it could get pretty long. So we're gonna try and fly through this. Now, Derrick Henry. If you haven't heard my thoughts and opinions on him being a 96, I recommend you guys go and watch that video I made a couple days ago on Derrick Henry. It's absurd that he's a 96. He should at least be a 98, and I put him at a 99, but he's still behind Christian McCaffrey, who played like 2 games last year. And there's a lot of reasons why Derrick Henry should be higher than Christian McCaffrey. There's a lot of reasons why you could put Derrick Henry as a 99 overall, and they didn't. So frustrated at that, but yeah, it's kind of crazy. The whole community, it's not like Derrick Henry's a 98. He's a 96, and everyone thinks that he should have been a 99. So, and EA gave him a 96. That's just crazy to me, but I gave you a whole spill on the other video. If you want to check that out, you can do so. Next up, the second highest rated Titan in the game is Julio Jones as a 95, which, in my opinion, it's Julio Jones. You could say he's washed. I don't think so. Julio Jones is still, in my opinion, a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. When ESPN came out with those rankings for the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL, Julio actually received 1 vote as still the best wide receiver in the NFL. So, and I think he fell in, I think it was 5th behind Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill. I think he came right after those 4. You could definitely argue Julio's better than Tyreek, but I think they put him in 5th again. I think Tyreek, Diggs, Devontae Adams, and D-Hop were all higher than him. But hey, Julio's going to have a great year. I expect it, especially with him not having everything on his shoulders. He's going to have, Derrick Henry. He's going to have A.J. Brown and those guys to pair with him. So, I mean, there's nothing. The sky's the limit for Julio this year, especially this Titans offense. This could be a very special year and a historical year at that for the Titans offense. So I do expect that overall to maybe go up a little bit. And we look at the individual stats, 92 speed, 90 excel. I think that could definitely be higher. Julio is definitely one of the more, I don't know. 92 speed just seems a little slow for me. 99 awareness is pretty good. 96 catching. So pretty solid stats across the board there. But let's move on. Don't want to spend too much time on one player. Kevin Byard at an 88, which is kind of surprising. I would have been, I wouldn't have been shocked if they gave him like an 84 or 85 because of the year he had last year. But really, that's just because we had no pass rush, and he only had a pick. He did lead the team in tackles though, so that is a pretty, that's a good thing. But Kevin Byard in the 88, that's really, really respectable for him. And I think that he was just outside of the top 10 free safety safety list. So I think the top 10 safeties in the game, I couldn't tell you off rip, but I think Kevin Byard came right at like 11, 12, 13, somewhere in there. So pretty respectable number for him, especially after the year he had last year, which is not the best. But I do expect a bounce back year for Kevin Byard. And he's going into the season looking for blood. So he's really, really ready to play this year, especially with us improving the pass rush with the addition of Bud Dupree. Harold Landry's going to get some less snaps this year, so he's not going to get burnt out as fast. And then also adding Nico Autry to go along with Big Jeff. And that defense is just going to get better. In my opinion, the defense is definitely going to improve. It's just going to, the question is how much is going to improve. But respectable rating there for Kevin Byard at an 88 overall. Next up, we have Ryan Tannehill, an 87 overall. This is a respectable number 2. I think he fell at number 8 or number 9. It was either 8 or 9 in the top 10 list for the quarterbacks, and that was very respectable. In my opinion, I wouldn't have been surprised if Tannehill was out of the top 10 after we saw what happened with Derrick Henry, but EA got us back a little later, and we'll talk about him right after this. But Ryan Tannehill at 87, I think that's very solid for him. I really, really hope that he gets a core elite in Madden Ultimate Team, so he can get that power up right off the rip. So we saw A.J. Brown, he's going to get a core elite, so I would imagine Ryan Tannehill is going to be a core elite as well. So we're going to open up the game with, Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, Kevin Byard, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown. Brett Kern more than likely is going to be an elite. Saffold I really hope is going to be an elite. Lawan is going to be a question mark there for Lawan, but hopefully these top 6-7 players will be an elite in Madden Ultimate Team, because that's really the game mode I play. I feel like we can go off these ratings here and kind of do some math and kind of estimate where their MUT overall is going to be. So that's kind of what I've been doing, looking at these ratings. But we saw Derrick Henry, who is a 96, is actually higher overall in Madden Ultimate Team than Christian McCaffrey, and Christian McCaffrey's higher overall in Reg. So really, you don't really know, but I kind of just been trying to work some stuff out and kind of guesstimating where these guys overall is going to be in Madden Ultimate Team, or what their base card is going to be in Madden Ultimate Team. But I think I finished up on Tannehill. We'll move on to A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is at least top 12 wide receiver in the NFL. I put him top 10, but A.J. Brown actually did not even get into the top 10, surprisingly. And then even more surprisingly, he wasn't even in the top 20. So I think that was just very, very frustrating for us Titans fans, especially with us being able to watch the greatness from A.J. Brown the past 2 years. Last year on 2 bad knees. Needed to have 2 surgeries on both his knees. And that is unbelievable. For him to go into the year last year with 2, he's pretty much he was going on no legs, and he still put up over 1,000 yards. That's unbelievable in my opinion. We see a speed there at 91, which is pretty solid. 93 acceleration. Catching's an 89, which is, I guess that's kind of low, but I mean, I don't know. With them putting him at A.J. Brown at 86, I probably would expect low stats on A.J. anyway. So A.J. at an 86 is an absolute joke. Hopefully A.J. can earn a higher overall throughout the year, and I expect him to do that. Maybe he ends the year with around a 90 overall. I would love to see that, him go +4 overall throughout the year. Maybe I'm hoping AJ gets at least 1,100 yards this year, especially with Julio coming in as well. But A.J. Brown producing the numbers he did with a 2,000-yard rusher, and Corey Davis opposite of him pretty much putting up 1,000 yards as well. I think Corey Davis was about, 20, 30, 40 yards off of 1,000. So A.J. Brown still put up insane numbers with him not getting as many targets. So I just don't know why they have A.J. at an 86. It's just unreal. They had Robbie Anderson over A.J. Brown. They had Chris Godwin over A.J. Brown. They had a bunch of really good receivers in the NFL, but none of them are better than A.J. Brown. But yeah, we'll keep on going here. I probably will just go to around 80 overall and stop, because there's no need to go past that. Well, maybe there is, but let's keep on going here. We see Brett Kern here at an 85. Again, punter. Brett Kern's been doing it his whole career. He's phenomenal. Respectable overall there for him. Saffold at an 85. I think he's one of the more underrated guards in the game. I am very, very surprised that he has the same overall as Taylor Lewan. I would have expected a higher overall for Roger Saffold than Taylor Lewan, just because of Taylor Lewan's injury last year and Saffold blocking for a 2,000-yard rusher. But they put him at the same overall. In my opinion, I would have loved to see Saffold at around an 86 or an 87, but that's fine with him at an 85, I guess, and then Taylor Lewan at an 85. I think Taylor's going to go up in overall as well. One of the more underrated lines in the NFL is the Tennessee Titans. If you watch games on Sunday, this offensive line is the reason why Derrick Henry's obviously Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, but you got to have a really good offensive line for your running back to get 2,000 yards. So in my opinion, the Titans' offensive line is something they're probably one of the more slept on slept on groups, slept on something about the Tennessee Titans. They're just slept on the offensive line. So Saffold, in my opinion, I think he should be a little higher than Lewan. And then we move on to Lewan. Lewan at 85 is A-OK, in my opinion, with him being hurt all year. Well, pretty much all year last year. He did play a few games there early in the year, but for the most part, he was out all year. With an 85, that's pretty solid. This is where I get into a very interesting deal here with Rashaan Evans at an 84 overall and Jeffrey Simmons at an 83 overall. Jeffrey Simmons is a better football player than Rashaan Evans. It's that simple, and EA must not watch football because clearly they didn't last year, because Rashaan Evans had probably arguably his worst year of his career last year. Didn't play good at all. And they have him at an 84, and Jeffrey Simmons keeps improving throughout his career, and they have him at an 83. Jeffrey Simmons draws double teams. He draws triple teams. It's ridiculous. We had no pass rush because no one could get the job done on the outside. We know how Clowney went. Harold Landry was playing too much. And Simmons drew double teams, but no one could get home. It's going to be very scary because Jeffrey Simmons, if he gets one-on-one opportunities, it's going to be hell on the offense. I'll tell you that much. So he should be drawing a double team every time, and that'll free up Bud Dupree, Harold Landry on some one-on-one opportunities on the outside. So, in my opinion, Jeffrey Simmons is a much better football player than Rashaan Evans. I'd probably put Jeffrey Simmons at around an 85, maybe even 86 at this point in his career. But hopefully he can earn his way up as well, just like AJ can too. Then we get that Jayon Brown, who, in my opinion, he was hurt last year. So, 82 is very respectable for him. 86 speed on him with 88 excel. That's an I mean, that could be a little higher. I could see him maybe go 88-ish speed, because he's one of the more the younger group of linebackers that we see are more they are very, very diverse in the way they play the game. They can drop back in coverage, they can play the run. Very versatile players. So and you'll see a lot of faster guys there at that middle linebacker spot. You saw Fred Warner, who just got paid a lot of money for being a very similar player to Jayon Brown, or I should say Jayon Brown being a very similar player to Fred Warner. So you'll see these younger inside linebackers. They'll start just like a Jayon Brown and Fred Warner and guys like that. Obviously, Jayon Brown's not Fred Warner, but more you'll see faster guys from that position nowadays than what you saw in the past, like a Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis, very physical guys. And Jayon is a great guy against the pass. So yeah, Ben Jones at an 81, that's pretty respectable too. I might have Ben Jones maybe an 82, 83. Obviously, he's not on Saffold Lewan level, but I think he's trailing them very, very closely. So 81, that's fine with me. Bud Dupree at an 81. Is that a little? I think that's a little low. I probably put, after the season he had last year, Bud Dupree. Again, he tore his ACL, but I still think he deserves higher than an 81. But they put him at an 81. I would have thought maybe around an 83, 84. But that's just me. Harold Landry at an 80. That's A-OK because Harold Landry didn't have the best year last year. So 80's fine for him. We'll start zooming through these last couple players. Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins at a 79. That's fine for him. Danico Autry at a 77. I think that could be a little higher, but that's fine. He's fine right there. Josh Reynolds as a 76 is good. Nate Davis, who in my opinion is one of the more underrated young players in the NFL. Not just young O-linemen, but young players in the NFL. He's a big reason why Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards. Like I said before, I feel like the Titans' offensive line is one of the more underrated things about the Tennessee Titans in as a whole. So yeah, Nate Davis at a 76. I feel like that will improve for sure. Caleb Farley at a 75 with 95 speed, 95 excel. That's pretty impressive. I really, really hope that he outperforms what everyone's thinking this year. And we there's a lot of pressure on him. I've talked about him before. But we expect him to come out there and be an absolute ball player for us, which I don't know if you want to do that to your young rookie and throw him in a spot like that. That's why I've been talking about trying to get one more cornerback and trying to relieve some of that pressure off of Caleb Farley, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Amani Hooker to 74. Again, no one knows how Amani Hooker's going to play. I know Amani Hooker's going to be a fantastic addition to the team. Not addition to the team, but he's going to take over that starting role at strong safety, and he's going to play very well. He had 4 picks last year, which led the team, I think tied with Malcolm Butler. So I'm very excited to see how Amani Hooker plays. And we'll go through page 2 as fast as we can. Anthony Ferkser to 73. That's solid. Again, we don't know how Ferkser is going to play in his new role as well. Kerry Blossom at a 72. Matthias Farley at a 72. Abra Jones at a 71. Didn't he just retire or something like that? But he's a 71. I think he retired, right? But Brian Hill as a 71. I'm very excited to see how Brian Hill plays as well. He's one of the more I'm very excited for Brian Hill and how he plays this year. Breon Borders, him and Josh Reynolds are the more Brian Hill and probably Amani Hooker, Josh Reynolds. Those guys I'm very excited about seeing in the two-tone blue. Breon Borders, who has been playing very, very good in training camp. We'll have a video out on that a little bit later, maybe late this afternoon, maybe into tonight. Be on the lookout for that. 70 for him is fine. David Long at a 70 is fine. Christian Fulton at a 70 is fine. Marcus Johnson 70. Chester Rogers 69. Cruikshank 69. Really nothing too special when we get through here toward the bottom. Cam Batson with 93 speed. So that's something to look at too, is the speed. Des Fitzpatrick at an 89 speed as well. Yeah, we'll fly through these last couple just to show you guys what we're looking for or what we're looking at. Tier Tart, very excited for him. 66 overall for him. He's gonna be. I feel like he's gonna play very well this year, depending on how many snaps he gets, which sounds like he's gonna be getting a lot because he's improved a lot this offseason. Dylan Radins, our rookie right tackle, is only a 65. That's interesting as well. And then we kind of get into some of these guys down here who, in my opinion, some of these guys might not even make the roster, but yeah, I think we just released Skipper, and he's still on here, but I think they've probably done this way before. And then we get into Deshaun Kaiser, a 58 overall. And that's about it. We see Logan Woodside as the lowest ranked Titan in the game. Morgan Cox is not a tight end. That's why he's a 29 overall. He's a long snapper, so that's why he's in the game as a tight end, I guess. But that's why he's overall so low, because he's a long snapper and they put him at tight end. So Logan Woodside is actually the lowest Titan in the game. Kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, but hey, I mean, that's why I think we're screwed if Tannehill goes down. We have a 49 overall and we have a 58 overall quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, let me know how you feel about these ratings, guys. The entire Tennessee Titans breakdown here. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, every NFL team every NFL team's player is in the database now. So if you want to check that out, go for it. Takeaways from this: A.J. Brown should be higher. Derrick Henry should be a 99. And, there's a couple younger guys that EA probably don't even watch. And in my opinion, I think they should be higher. Definitely, Big Jeff not higher than Rashaan Evans is pretty much, that's like unlawful. Like I said, they probably don't. I don't know who thinks that Rashaan Evans should be higher overall than Jeffrey Simmons. I don't know, but it is what it is. But yeah, with that being said, that's going to do it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about this list. Everyone's overall, who should be higher, who should be lower, reasoning behind it, stuff like that. But let me know. With that being said, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Until next time, I'll see y'all.